Midlife
Welcome
crisis.
to our show, where we interview comics who've been interviewed by other comics, who've been interviewed by other comics, who've been interviewed by other comics here in the Lubbock area. So in case you missed this episode, watch any other podcast by any other comedy,
especially this
here in Lubbock.
Yeah, I'm fucking everywhere.
Is here everywhere. I think we're gonna have to edit that out. I'm sorry.
No, we could say.
No, you can. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if you say something you want us to cut out,
I don't think there's anything we need to cut out so far.
No.
I think we're all golden.
We good.
Back to what you said, circling back a little bit to what you said, though, I thought that was pretty cool. You said about how, because atheists, they're saying like there is no.
Yeah, they're definitive.
They're convinced that there is no God, which is kind of like kind of pretentious to say, because like how do you know for sure? So was it? And I'm not even sure exactly what
I think so. I've done a little bit on this. I think an atheist would say that they're not atheist in a religious way, in the sense that they know God doesn't exist through like a proof, right? I think an atheist would say, hey, I don't subscribe to any belief system, period, that advocates for there being a God. Okay. And so I think an atheist might say, I believe in science, I believe in rationality, and, what I can see, touch, think through,
which is like,
which would be like Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais kind of really hits on that atheist.
Yeah. And that's a good way that okay, I can't even talk right now. That's a good way that you explained it, for someone just to be like, no, there's not a God, and that's it, for them just to like conversation over.
Yeah.
Then that sounds like, okay, like what?
I mean, that's really like an easy way for an atheist to be like, this is kind of what I believe, but I don't think they would call it a belief, so to speak.
And
or at least
with that,
I don't.
I get you. Sorry. Sorry. Well, I was gonna say, with that being said, like I kind of don't care what people believe in, as long as they're like just a decent person or a good person.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. Like, whatever. I think where are we going with this now? What's going on?
I think we started on just like a hot button topic. Like, let's dig into this and stir up some shit.
I've actually encountered the opposite atheists. The ones that are like, I know there's not a God. And then one thing that did kind of irritate me was that they like to do a lot of like, not only do they claim that they're atheists and they know there's not a God, but then they like to attack other people's religions and beliefs and make mockery. And that I don't like. I'm like, come on, like I get it, you don't believe it, but don't talk shit about their.
But it's one thing if it's a debate between two people who are kind of like engaging in that conversation, like a Christopher Hitchens or, Richard Dawkins, where it's more of an intellectual type thing. Mm-hmm. But then when it's like personal and you're trying to attack each other,
I'm pretty dumb, but for me, I'm thinking like, where's the end game when it comes to like a religious debate? And like there isn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because none of us.
Well, the end. Sometimes the end is the argument itself, the discussion, the pleasure of just working through the problem and
the fact
debating.
That two people could even be alive and questioning. Or wait, never mind. I think I'm going a different route. Let me, like, when people have too much pride in something too, that I think that's where people have like, where people bump heads. If you're like, if you have too much pride in like, this is my flag, this is where I'm from, a city, that's kind of causes. So like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, I kind of feel what you're saying. I don't know. I've said it a couple of times. Like, I think my philosophy on life is just, all that I know is I know nothing at all. That's my philosophy. All that I know is I know nothing at all. Everything I know is because somebody told me. Like, the sky is blue. They told me the sky is blue. So now I believe. I can choose to believe them or not. But then on top of that, how do we know that that's actually the word for that color? We create.
In Spanish, it's azul.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we create that word as humans to call it blue. But is that the universal word for that? Like, I don't know. I'm getting all stupid on it.
It's 2 + 2 always 4. Right, so mathematics is kind of like drawn to by philosophers as a universal that is unchanging, and that's where Descartes thought he found God. Actually,
in math
is there in geometry and in math. I'm probably gonna get ripped by philosophers on that. That's a super overgeneralization.
I just flipped off the camera for a second. Is that,
I go to church every week.
Yeah.
You know, I've been practicing Mormon my whole life.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. That's how you live your life, and that's how makes you happy. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
It makes my wife happy. I really like what's his name, Jim Gaffigan. He's always so tongue in cheek about his Catholicism and how he's such a strong Catholic because of his wife, and always appreciate.
Yeah, I like that, dude. What about you, bro? You go to church? Or you don't go to church?
Well, my background is like heavily like Catholic. I don't know. I know there's like two different types of Catholic. I'm like Mexican Catholic. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I am.
But yeah, definitely both sides of my family, like my mom's side and my dad's side, they're like all Catholic. But I don't know. Like I really don't. I think for me trying to describe or like tell someone that, I don't know, how is this? This is confusing. Like things are just what they are. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me to say there is a God, there isn't a God, or for someone to tell me there isn't, like that, all that's pointless.
Yeah.
It's literally all pointless. It's like you know what I mean? What I believe in is like I don't know. I'm kind of like a hippie in a sense, like a stoner hippie philosophy. Like I have that vibe where like, let's say, like I like to put things together. Like let's say I'm like driving on the way to work or something, and let's say I'm thinking about something, or let's say I'm listening to a song, right?
Yeah.
And I see like a billboard that has that kind of relates to that song. To me, that's like not a coincidence. That's kind of like, you know what I mean?
You look for signs and shit.
Yeah, like in like in the physical reality world or whatever. And I feel like because I've seen some trippy shit. Not where like I'm not saying like supernatural or weird, just like weird coincidences that always happen, like in a certain order, to where I'm like, okay, that's just like that's kind of some kind of sign or something.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that a lot, honestly, because y'all gonna get an exclusive. You ready?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So even though I talk about my life a lot, I've never said this. So I was actually born dead. I was a stillborn.
Wow.
And so my mom said I was dead for like 17 minutes. And so my mom was very religious, like Catholic, but not really like practicing Catholic, just Catholic by name.
Like after the umbilical cord's cut, you're there at the hospital and they're trying to like
I was delivered and not breathing or anything.
Yeah, wow.
They were already at the hospital?
Yeah, and they already called me dead and everything, my mom said. Like, but one doctor, she said, wouldn't stop. So he kept like trying to get me to come back.
Uh-huh.
Apparently my mom, like she said, it was 17 minutes. She claims it was so long that she was actually able to like go downstairs to the chapel of the hospital and pray to God to bring me back or to bring me. She claims to this day that's what happened. And then all of a sudden, like I said, it was like 17 or 20 minutes. They like, he's back. He's here.
Man.
Like that dude never stopped, which I don't know his name or anything. It was a hospital that Lubbock used to have that's no longer around. They got broke down where I was born. But like that dude basically saved my life. But my mom is like, God gave you back to me because I prayed to him.
Or God just told him to keep trying.
To keep trying where
you know what I mean? And so there was something in it, like when God works, I guess you could say like God works through people and things, you know what I mean? So like
and so I mean
all that just to that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So
that's
I was born dead,
dude.
And then my mom basically she told me that the deal she made with God was that if he gave me back to her, she was gonna bring me to the church. You know, so then,
wait, say that. I'm sorry. Say that.
Like bring you to the church.
Yeah, like basically, I was gonna be raised in the church, know who God is because He gave me back to her. You know, so yeah, I grew up like I said. I went through the whole catechism and all that as a Catholic, and I felt bad because like I would say early on, I realized that I didn't believe.
Yeah,
you know,
like in the church. And
yeah. So the type
what kind of drew you to that conclusion?
Well, the type of person I am, I question everything.
Yeah.
So when you telling me, hey, this is a book about a God from 2,000 years ago, I was like, well, how do we know that's true? Like, you know, I would always question and get in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, okay, well, nobody knows that person. You know, like, so I was always questioning. And it's just how I am, you know. I'm not going to believe you. I need to see evidence for it. So I got called everything from doubting Thomas to they actually told my mom and my grandma that I was possessed by the devil because I asked too many questions. Because I would, you know, they had
really,
they had sisters, they had a father or whatever they referred to the priest, And like I said, I would be the kid getting pulled out of Sunday school because I'm asking all these questions. And then they would be like, well, don't ask. Like anytime I knew I stumped them, whenever they're like, don't ask questions, that's evil. I'm like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? Don't ask questions.
Like, I mean, I find myself in church. Yeah. I can't ask questions.
Yeah.
I can't. There are questions you just can't ask.
Oh,
you know,
I gotta have like,
and they'll kind of pretend like, hey, we're open to whatever kind of discussion or direction we want it to go, but only as long as it's propelling a faith-based sort of conversation. But any sort of questioning is definitely not.
They don't like it.
They don't like it.
No church likes that.
So, I mean, I guess with good reason. You know, you've got different, you know, members of the church at different levels, you know, kind of trying to figure out what their path is. And the object of going to church isn't to just hate on it.
Yeah.
But there are some questions that'd be nice to just ask.
Yeah. I'll tell y'all my controversial opinion in a little bit.
Please.
I'll tell
what were some of the questions you had as a kid?
Well, no, like anytime, like, you know, because you go through the Bible and there's stories, you hear all the stories. But like my question was always like, how do we know this is true? Nobody from 2,000 years ago was still alive. How do we know? And like, I think a lot of it too was I grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
So a lot of the older people I knew as hypocrites. Like I knew a lot of the big time drug dealers that were at the church. So I'm like, this dude pretending to be holy, yeah, he out here doing bad things.
Do you think he really thought he was like believing in Christ, or do you think it was like a networking opportunity?
No, it's networking opportunities, bro. It's all hypocrites. It's all, I'm going to be bad and evil, but then I'm going to go and ask for forgiveness on a Sunday and then go back to being bad and evil. And, you know, the whole game.
Yeah.
And you said like growing up in the hood, like kind of questioning things. I'm thinking that because I kind of like grew up in California for just like the hood, you know what I mean, itself. But I feel like that kind of makes, I feel like being religious is accepted more, like, because that's considered to be normal.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're like an atheist, or if like you show like you don't believe in God or whatever, you're like kind of outcasted. I don't know, that's probably like everywhere, you know, but that's just my experience.
Yeah.
And like, so like, and then to me that, because that was me as a teenager, like saying like, oh, like I don't believe in God, or even say horrible things of whatever to whatever God is. And then I was like into punk rock, and like I was, you know what I mean, like rebellious kid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now that I look back, and like I was just an asshole. I was just big.
Yeah. Because I mean, you were.
But that I don't think that really reflects. I think I was just latching on to more of it, like how it's like shocking to tell people, like, oh, I don't believe in God, or like screw God.
Value.
Yeah.
Try to piss people off.
Yeah, and that's not really my view, but like now it's kind of just like life is just things are just what they are, you know. I gotta play my role, whatever it is. And I think you create your own role in life. People like people think they're born for. Well, this is just my opinion. Like I don't think I'm born with the purpose. And I don't think people are like. I think you gotta create your own purpose in life. Whatever you want to be, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't believe people when they say, I was born to do this.
Yeah.
No, you were born and you decided to do it.
You decided to do it. Yeah. Nah, I think. Like I said, I grew up in the hood, so I saw all that hypocrisy or whatever, and then I'm just that natural. I question everything, you know, so it was hard for me to be like, well, let me believe, you know, but I never read the Bible, but I was told the Bible, you know, I guess the Catholic Bible, I don't know if they're different a lot but I remember stories that would be told to me. Like one that I remember is like somewhere God is talking to the devil or something like that. And then I remember him saying like that he's going to give the devil domain of the earth and everything on it or something like that. So basically life is like this big test, but the devil runs everything in this realm, this plane. So years later, that's what led me to my controversial belief that I have now, or theory. I don't know whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's not belief, but it's like, my opinion is, what if the devil's job is to deceive everybody, right? That's the ultimate deception, deceive and get you away from God. So what if every religion that we know on earth is actually of the devil, and the devil made it to deceive us all away? That's why there's so many different religions and beliefs and gods and all throughout human history.
That's one way to spread people apart.
You pretend you're the God, and then divide the whole.
That's like that's like the original version of, what is it, like to make, what is that saying, to separate
Yeah, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of the faiths think that they are like the one, not all of them, many of them think they're like the one true church. The Mormons or the, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they, in the scriptures actually calls all the other churches the great and abominable church.
Yep.
Right. And so we try to like apologize for that. And what like we like to say to people is, oh, well, your church is great. You've got a lot of good things. It just doesn't have the fullness of the gospel. It's not completely true like ours.
Yeah. They all
they all do that. They all do that.
They all do that. I'm telling you.
They all do that.
Yeah, I think they all do. But you got to remember, man, what we're dealing with on this plane is we're all humans.
Yeah.
We're all, I believe, well, I could say believe. I accept the theory of evolution. So we're evolved from primates. We are an animal just like any other animal, which to me, that describes a lot of human behavior, territorialism, dominance.
Yeah. Evolution is pretty backed up with science.
Yeah. And so,
you would say, right?
Yeah. What I used to do when I was a kid is I used to be like, okay, well, that proves there's not a God. I've come to the conclusion now that no, that doesn't disprove God. That actually verifies God. But the way I put it is not that we weren't God's first thought for Earth.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, what if you're making a video? I put it like you're making a video game. You don't want to put any kind of a glitch in there or anything where somebody can duplicate, make it or whatever. So for us to be made in God's image, we had to evolve over millions of years into the image that we are. Because then to me, I was like, well, then that's why not every primate evolved like this. That's not because we do have that essence that was given to us.
But do you think we're made in God's image? Like, and how so? Physically or just a consciousness? Because that's a very Catholic.
I kind of just thought of something real quick. So if we're made, because he's kind of talking about evolution and that how we're made in God's image and that like obviously we're still evolving, but I mean we can't like we're not as a species, whatever. But so does that mean the God's image isn't always just like God's image kind of changes? Like if we're made, that's kind of like a stoner question right now to ask. No, like if we're made, I mean, like if evolution is real and we're made in God's image, doesn't that mean that God's image isn't a set thing? Like it's kind of.
I mean, there's been a few iterations of Homo sapiens. Like we're Homo sapiens sapiens.
Yeah. What if God evolved?
They're Homo sapiens. Then there was Homo erectus. There was.
That could be exactly it. Because in the Bible, angels don't look like us. From what I was told, they look kind of weird, like wings with eyes and all kinds of, like really weird depictions.
Yeah.
We're the ones that look like this. But of course, we can say a lot of our looks and features are from evolution. We evolved from that same primate ancestor, But there is something about us that we conquered this mug better than anything ever before us that we're aware of. Because I do get into that too, where I'm like, well, what if that, like there's all these theories that we've actually been like civilizations before that have came and fell. I don't know if y'all know all that shit.
Like before the Romans and before Babylon and Egypt and all that.
We're older than we're told we are. That we're actually, there's been multiple civilizations that have advanced to technological, and then we kill ourselves because of battle and war. And then we have to.
You're talking like
reset theory,
like hundreds of millions of years ago or billions of years ago.
Yeah, because we're what the world is like 4 billion.
Because we can, we can find dinosaur bones, and archaeologists and geologists can kind of pin those back to certain millions of years ago.
Yeah. Well, my understanding of evolution, which I'm not claiming to be a freaking teacher, I'm dyslexic and shit, but like I'm kind of interested. I think they said like this form that we are, like you said, Homo sapien, we're only 250,000 years old. So like I was watching some podcast where a scientist was talking about, man, in 250,000 years, we have the same brain, same thoughts and everything, same body frame. We could have evolved into great societies and died, great society and died, great society. Because right now, look, we've came a long way in just 60 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think there might be more evidence though that you'd look for in that time frame, just because there'd be more to find. Maybe, but we do have like I think there's a study that we have like 2% or maybe 1% like Neanderthal gene, like DNA.
Yeah, because I mean, come on now, that was a dumb theory back in the day that we killed them off. We don't kill anything; we mate with it. We kill the males, but we breed with the females. Like, we're not gonna kill them off. Like,
so I want to try something out. So now that we're talking about history, one of the segments that I want to try out, whatever, is called the Today. Like, it's a Today in History, something we'll talk about, whatever. And I just pulled it up right now. But I mean, we don't have to talk about. Let me see. I don't think anything really looks cool. But and then I looked up. I was looking at your Facebook. What's your birthday? April
5th.
April 5th. But I did look up things that happened in history on April 5th, and there was a couple of cool things. Let me see. April 5th in history. Sorry, guys.
You listen to books on tape?
Sorry. It was loaded up, but
I tried. I felt.
What about when you're driving?
Podcast. That's where I'm always watching and listening. Well, not watching, but
listening. Yeah.
What year were you born?
86.
Well, when you can kind of hold the phone up,
like this. Oh shit.
So these are things that happened in history on your birthday.
April 5th, 86.
So this someone that stands out to me is Nirvana from Kurt Cobain died by suicide at the age of 27 on April 5th.
I murked him.
How old were you? You murked it? How old were you when Kurt Cobain killed himself?
Oh, bro, I didn't even know.
This was a 19. You know who Kurt Cobain is?
I know who he is.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know.
Okay, that doesn't. So fuck that.
I just remember putting a Kurt Cobain poster up in my bedroom. I was downstairs and I knew my mom didn't like Nirvana, and my dad came down and he was like, "What's this?" I was like, "It's a poster. I really like their music."
I knew all my white homies were saying.
He walked up the stairs, dude, and all of a sudden, dude, I just hear my mom stomping down the stairs, dude, just ready to like beat the whatever. She ripped the poster off. That was that. She didn't even say a word, dude. She just ripped it off and went right back upstairs.
Really?
It was like a photo of him in the MTV Unplugged.
Yeah. Was that before or after he died?
It was. I think it was after.
It was after. Okay.
It was after he died.
After I marked him.
Yeah.
She didn't like the video of the in utero. What was that? A heart-shaped box.
Heart-shaped box. Okay.
Like all the fetuses hanging from the trees, and then she's kind of. It was kind of like a morbid.
Well, there's a lot of demonic symbolism in the music industry, bro.
Oh, like, for sure.
Come on, man.
For sure.
Let me see. Damn, that's crazy. 4 California Highway Patrol officers were shot and killed while confronting 2 armed suspects outside a restaurant in Newhall, California.
I was murking a lot of people.
Man.
I was murking a lot of people before I came in this bitch. That's what it is, reincarnation. I had to kill some people before I came in, so it was like maybe about 20 minutes.
Pocahontas, the daughter of Indian chief Pata, how do you say his name?
Man, shit.
How Hayden married John Rolfe.
On my birthday?
Yep.
I thought that was like years.
That was in 1614.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in 86. I was like, oh, this happened when I was-
That was in 1614, yeah, man.
Pocahontas was still alive.
Yeah.
How old am I, dog?
Those are some records, dude.
Fuck yeah, bro. A lot of people murked.
My grandma thinks the related to Pocahontas. My 16th great grandmother.
Could be, bro. Could be. I mean, honestly, shit.
All right, that was it for that segment.
Okay.
I should have prepared it a little more, but
I mean, speaking of history, go ahead.
Do you share any celebrity birthdays that you know of? Anybody, or like, no, you don't care?
I don't never fucking care about celebrities and shit.
Fuck them. Yeah, fuck celebrities. Let's do it anyways.
I was kind of narcissistic growing up, bro.
Celebrities that were born on April 5th.
April 5th, baby. Who's born on my birthday?
Dude, I don't want to. So you're gonna have to murk him?
Yeah.
This isn't what.
How do you? While he's looking that up,
What's up?
I just want to see what do you? You enjoy being a dad? You got 7 kids.
You know what?
How old are all of them?
Oh man. So start at 21, 20, 17, 16, 15, and twin boys that are 14.
Cool. Do you find a lot of joy being a dad? A lot of pain?
I actually do, man. I actually do. I didn't think I would. I never thought I was gonna have kids growing up. I didn't want kids. And then my daughter was born obviously when I was like 16. She wasn't an accident. That's what I tell people. Like, but people think she was an accident. She wasn't an accident. We actually being stupid teenagers. We were cheating on each other all the fucking time. And so one day we're fucking and we're just like, we should have a baby. And of course, I'm just like, I get to bust inside.
Oh, that's what you seen it as. Hell yeah. That's the only way. Yeah.
So we planned her.
There you go.
And then a year later, the mom was like, I don't want to be with you no more. I'm leaving. So I became a single father at 17. And I raised my baby by myself.
How many years?
Probably till she was 9th grade.
9th grade. And then you met your wife?
Yeah, my wife now. We've been together going on 7 years or so. Whatever the fucking math is, we're going on 7 years.
Yeah. Did you find celebrities?
I did, but you were talking about a lot about that earlier too, about because we just came from an open, because people are watching this, so I don't want to be vague. So we just came from an open mic. I seen you, and I seen you too, and you were talking about your family, and so you said when you met, she's your wife.
Yeah,
right now.
We're not married, but I mean we're gonna get.
And you said how many kids does she have?
She has 6.
Okay,
so I got my daughter,
and you had
my one daughter.
Okay.
Now, so we met way back when we were 13 years old. We actually met back then.
Okay.
And we dated for like a summer. It was like a little summer crush thing, you know. And then some shit went down. We broke up, you know, like went away from each other for a long time. And then I always joke around, the magic of Facebook brought us back together, you know? Like,
yeah.
And so we started talking and shit. And I knew she had some kids like throughout the years because my mom would like see her every once in a while. And so I knew she was, you know, had kids. I had my daughter. But then around that time, she was kind of like going through a divorce from their dad. She had been with him for like 11 years, you know? And so they were going through divorce. It was a fucked up ass relationship, man. One of those piece of shits that preys on his family. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
Damn.
And so there was a lot of trauma and shit that the kids went through. And then, you know, luckily that motherfucker did some shit, went to prison for a long fucking time. So she was able to escape the situation with the kids. And then when we started talking, which probably was like 2018, 2017, you know, obviously I was like, man, she got 6 kids, you know, like, but I mean, we were just cool. We were friends, you know, so it wasn't like we're going to get together.
Yeah.
We were just talking and shit. And then like, the more we got together, that shit that brought us together back then brought us back together. The personality, the fucking commonality and jokes and shit. Like, you know, she's fucking funny, bro. And then she's got a good sense of humor like me. And so slowly but surely, man, you know how it is. It just became more. And then, you know, she was real hesitant because she was like, you know, I've got kids. I don't know, you know, I just got out of a marriage. So really, we've been together 7 years, going on 7 years, but we've only lived together for 2 of them.
Okay. Have the kids taken to you?
Yeah. Because what we would do is the first year, we didn't bring the kids in at all to our relationship. You know, they knew mama was going out dating somebody, you know, whatever. They were still real young, you know. And then eventually by the second year, we slowly started to introduce me to the kids. I introduced her to my daughter. And it wasn't like living together. It was just like, okay, now I'm coming over to watch a movie with mama. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew, like, you got to take it slow, bro. These kids, they were young. They had their dad. The girls didn't trust men. You know what I'm saying? A lot. And so that was a hard thing to, like, don't, you know, get their trust, you know, or be around them and shit. And then by, like, the 3rd year, man, like, they were so used to me, you know, like, being around. They never called me dad, obviously. They're just like, his mom's boyfriend. Like, they started realizing I wasn't just her friend. We're, you know, dating.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, like I said, after that, they started getting older. They still had a lot of hesitation because obviously they loved their dad, even though he was a piece of fucking shit, you know.
Yeah.
But they're starting to kind of like me, you know. They're like, oh, you're good. I'm not mistreating their mom. You know what I'm saying? My daughter's liking her, even though she never had a mom. You know, she's like, oh, she's nice. And then, like I said, man, we knew by 3 years ago, all right, we're going to go ahead and bring the families together because the kids are now grown. Everybody's like liking it. And so we moved in together, and I mean, it's been good, man. Now I'm proud to say that all my babies are comfortable. My babies love me. Like, and it's just, I went from never thinking I'm going to be a dad. I didn't have a dad, so I didn't know how to be a fucking dad. You know what I'm saying? To like, I just look at it like, look, man, treat kids like you would want to be treated, you know? And then I look at it like, look, the fucking world's already against them. I need to build them up so that they're ready to be in that world that fucking sucks, you know, but you'll have all the tools you need. And so really it's just about love, bro. I love the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't treat them like my step kids. I'll call them my kids.
Yeah.
And then my baby, now those are her brothers and sisters, you know? And they're all, man, like, they're all smart, bro. Like, for real. Like, my daughter, nobody in my family ever went to college. We were like, I joke around, but the truth is, like, we were all like gangbangers and all that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I was the first one to kind of break that generational shit.
Okay.
You know, so
that's what's up.
God, like you said, like, there were some things that stirred me away from that lifestyle. And so I was able to finally give it up officially when I was 20.
Yeah.
You know, but there was things that happened that I have to say were God. You know, something was supposed to go this way and it went this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was being steered away from the evil. But what I say is, like, it sucks because when I was 13, about 12, 13 is when I really got into it. And one thing I tell people is, man, the devil will give you everything. And so at that time, I'm not gonna say I worshiped the devil, but I worshiped the evil. And I got a lot, you know. I don't talk about it much because I'm not supposed to because of counseling, but like, at one point I was 14 years old and I had older people working for me. You know what I'm saying? And I went from being a kid that was fucking homeless, growing up in the hood, not having shit, to having more fucking money than my mom. But I wasn't like, I'm not gonna sit here in front like I was helping mom out. Fuck that. I was buying me jewelry, clothes, you know. But like, the evil was coming to me for doing the evil shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was getting everything, bro. Luckily, I was able to get away from that, like I said. So now I'm at a point where, like, everything's good. I got that family. I'm raising my kids good. Mm. But it sucks because, man, I missed that. I missed the money.
Yeah. And you have kids too, right? How many kids do you
have? Two. So I have a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old. And my parents, you know, I had really good examples for parents. They, you know, they worked hard and they, you know, my parents stayed together, which is kind of, it's not an anomaly, but like, you know, I have a lot of friends with divorced parents and
so y'all known each other. You and his.
About this year, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it since you started, basically. Because like I said, I was there a little bit before, but.
Okay. And you're from Lubbock? You originally from Lubbock?
Born and raised. I never left this bitch.
Okay. All right.
I would like to, but.
We're doing it right now, man. This is the episode that's gonna get us out the hood.
Right. Get us everywhere.
My bad. Where are we going with it?
Nah, bro, just lead it wherever.
What are we doing with this right now, man?
We're just talking about family. Yeah, man. You're talking about religion.
I was like, my segments are just like, you just shit on all my segments right now.
It's a conversation. That's this podcast starts. A conversation and shit.
Yeah.
So like, now I'm good. I got my.
How do you find time to really spend? You got 7 kids. You got work. You got your wife. You've got comedy. How do you find that time for comedy? And how do you find that time for, you know, like each of these people that are in your life?
Really, bro, honestly, like I said, they're all teenagers now. Oh,
and then you also have the PlayStation 5, right?
No, not yet. I'm trying to get that.
Trying to get that.
Trying to get that PlayStation.
Gotta do more evil shit, you know?
Just
a little bit. Just cut just enough.
As soon as you make enough PS5, just cut off the evil shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So set your goals.
Yeah. Now, like I said, they're teenagers, bro. So one thing I learned, obviously, and we all learn, is once they hit teenagers, they no longer want to really be around mom and dad. They're doing their own thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they come home from school. I come home from work. I'm not going to say we eat together, but like, I'm always giving them a hug, asking how their day was. Then usually they're all doing their thing, playing fucking video games, watching movies. Me and my girl watch TV together, you know? So we kind of shit like that. And then I guess my kind of getaway is doing the comedy. But the comedy for me is also became very therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, because like, I didn't just get away from the hood and the evil fucking all natural and shit. I actually did counseling for like 15 years straight.
Okay.
You know, so that's what really kind of got me out. But what sucks is now that I've leveled up career-wise, I got priced out of counseling. So I make too much, but I don't make enough to afford the fucking $200 sessions.
Yeah.
So I don't have counseling no more. So I've learned that this fucking comedy thing kind of fills that void a little bit.
So what was there any other kind of void ever? Because you mentioned like the fucking like hustling. I'm sure like whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
like,
shit.
because was there anything other than that vice that like you kind of before comedy? You said video games.
Well, no, yeah, no, you're right. I played semi-pro football for 3 or 4 years.
Semi-pro football.
Yeah. Here.
What does that mean?
So it's semi-professional football.
Okay.
So like,
what is that like in? Is that like for college or?
no, it's for the city of Lubbock.
For the city of Lubbock. Okay.
So
Was that through school though?
no.
No?
It was just for the city of Lubbock. So
Okay. I don't know anything.
no, I'm
really,
saying what it was, bro, is like, okay, so at that time, Texas had a league called the MPFL, Minor Professional Football League.
Mhm.
And it had 4 divisions. So East, West, North, South, divided Texas, And so West, we had 6 teams up here in the West. Houston, Dallas had teams. El Paso, I think we had 1 New Mexico team. And then we had like Dallas, like they divided it up. And so we played our region. And then, of course, like anything else, if you win, you go to the playoffs. Then you play the championship. But it was kind of cool. Like, I mean, you weren't supposed to get paid, but like some of us got paid $100 a game. Mm-hmm. So you could be like, I'm a professional.
Yeah, that's what's up.
What position did you play?
So I played middle linebacker and power running back. So,
Dude, you'd be gnarly.
oh,
Wait, so
Both those positions.
how old were you when you played the semi-pro league?
semi-pro, I was 24 to 28.
24 to 28. Okay.
Yeah.
And were you in like any school? Like, was this like how'd you even? How'd
Yeah.
you, like sign up? You just showed up. You're like, hey, can I?
Did you play Little League while you're hustling?
Well, okay, so like I guess going way back and shit, like funny ass story, bro. Like, so like I grew up, like I said, with a single mom. My mom ended up having 4 kids from 3 different dudes, but none of them motherfuckers stayed. They all left. So we were raised by a single mother and shit. But like, this is true. When I was like 11 years old, my mom was like, man, my son acts real feminine. Cause I was just around my mom. So, I was like, she said I would act real feminine. She was like, this little motherfucker needs to be around men.
Did she put you in sports?
I had never seen a fucking sport in my life. My mom didn't ever, all I saw was martial arts movies. My mom loved martial arts, but I had never seen football. I didn't know any sport. And so one day she's like, I'm signing you up for youth football. And so I was
That's what's up.
So I joined football not knowing what the fuck it was. And I ain't even lying. I've said this set before. We were poor, so I didn't have no athletic gear. So we went to fucking, I think it was Salvation Army. All we could find, bro, was a hot pink fucking tank top and some lime green shorts. And I had flip-flops. So I show up to practice, and remember, I'm all feminine and shit. So I show up and I'm like, they're like, who are you? I'm like, my name is Iz. I'm here to play football. Like, And so they were like, we got our first queer boy.
Oh man.
But like, they showed, like I sat there and I saw everything. And so they would line us up. The first drill we did was tackling drill. And so they had the dummy and shit. And I got to the back of the line, obviously, because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Mm-hmm. But I seen them. They just run and hit it as hard as they could. And I was like, oh, that looks fun. So it was my turn. I ran and knocked the fuck out that shit. All the coaches were like, oh, shit. They're like, this kid hits like a bear. So get back in the line, get back in the line. And so I thought I fucked up. But they were like, no, do it again. So I did it again. Bah! Oh, shit. This fucking kid defense, man. So they put me on defense. And I played the whole fucking season. I ain't even playing. Not knowing what the fuck I was doing. It was like The Water Boy. I don't know if you ever seen that movie.
Yeah.
They were like, just hit whoever has the ball.
I just watched The Water Boy with my son.
That was me, bro.
That's a good movie, man. That's a great movie.
That was basically me as a fucking youth football. I just hit whoever had the ball.
That's a fucking.
So I was pretty fucking legit, bro. I had good athleticism. And then
Was it that same day that you showed up with the pink?
Yo, yeah, that was first practice.
They told you, oh, Gabriel. So like everyone showed up. You showed up. And you're like, oh man, what's up with this kid? And all of a sudden they're like, do it again.
Oh, they were like, okay, boy can hit. Like,
Nice.
And so I played. So I was probably like 12 at that point. So I played all through 12. And I mean, I liked it. It was fun, even though I didn't know what the fuck I was doing really. So junior high, I ended up going to junior high and playing football, but they moved me to running back because I had speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I noticed, like, they were like, you can still hit people. I was like, well, I like that too.
There you go.
Because I was running people over and shit. So I played running back both years of junior high. And then my 9th grade year, I didn't really get to play because we were all fucked up moving around. So like throughout the course of my schooling, I probably went to like 6 different schools from elementary, junior highs, high schools. So we were always fucking losing apartments, moving. But anyways, high school, I was a fucking unit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like I tell people, when I was 16 years old, I was 5'11", that's my height, but I was 235 pounds, 17% body fat. So I was like,
oh damn, just that's crazy.
Yoked. And then I ran, I don't know if you understand the 40, y'all know what the 40 is? Mm-hmm. So I ran a 4.68 40.
Wow.
So I ran 40 yards in 4.6 seconds.
40 yards in 4.6 seconds.
Yeah, so
that's like if you hit that,
that's fast as fuck. Yeah. Just imagine that with 235 fucking pounds of muscle, just fucking, I was knocking the shit out of people, bro.
Damn, freaking like the juggernaut.
Yeah.
Shit. Damn.
And so even though I kind of knew the game a little bit better by that point, like you said, I was still being stupid on the side, bro. So I never gave a fuck about school. Like, I have dyslexia, so by 4th grade, I couldn't even fucking read and write. I was that far behind. So school was never fucking shit to me. I was just going so I could eat food and play football. And when I got to high school and junior high, I was like, so I could fuck. Because, like, I was fucking by 12. So that's all I did, man. Fuck, eat football or play football. And I was pretty fucking good at it.
Like a good life, man.
Pretty fucking good at it, bro. And I actually had an opportunity for a football scholarship coming out of high school.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, dude. What school?
I think West Texas A&M.
Okay.
So
by Amarillo.
Yes.
I think it's called something different now.
Supposedly, from what I can remember, bro, SMU wanted me.
Oh.
But like I said, I was in special ed. I didn't give a fuck about grades. So even though I was a unit and shit, you have to have grades, obviously.
Yeah.
So they were gonna send me to fucking, I guess, junior college. Is that what they
got it? Yeah.
Like, to fucking build and shit? But they were gonna do a full ride.
Wow.
But like, truthfully, I joke around, but it's true. Neither me or my mom knew what the fuck a scholarship was. Nobody in my family ever went to college.
Yeah.
So around that same time is when I got my girl pregnant. And my mom was like, hey, you need to fucking get a job to raise your kid.
Yeah.
And so she was like, football ain't gonna pay for it. Like going to school is not gonna help you take care of a kid. So I never gave a fuck about school, like I said. So I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out of school anyway. So I dropped out my beginning of my senior year.
Okay.
And so gave up everything and then started going out building houses with Mexicans from Mexico.
Okay.
Which I've talked about that too. Like, the funny story from that.
What's your Spanish like?
Fucking sucks. I can't do it.
You just know like the basics?
Yeah.
Like,
I knew enough, like, hey, necesito trabajo.
So,
Angel, do you speak Spanish?
I speak some pretty good Spanish, but I don't want to like to you guys. I'll say I speak Spanish, but to people like Rafa, if I tell him I speak Spanish, he'll see through me where I kind of like I'm not like completely. It's not like completely proper. You know what I mean? So I guess it depends who I'm talking to. Like I could understand it pretty well and I could communicate it pretty well, but if I'm like in a setting where like people are actually like know like real proper Spanish, like I'll stand out in front of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've had people tell me that when I try to speak Spanish, it sounds like Native Americans in the movies. How how like they said I missed.
You just slow down your English.
That, and then I miss whatever the fuck grammatical words or some shit they say.
Okay.
They said that's what it
Conjugations
sounds like.
and stuff. Yeah. Well, what else do you want to talk about? You got questions for us?
Man, what made y'all get into comedy and shit? I don't think I even finished that story, but
yeah, please finish the story.
Yeah, that's what we're in the middle of.
Yeah,
good. Go ahead.
No, my wife. So my wife is the reason I started doing the comedy, because when I finished playing football, like you said, that was my outlet, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so
it was your thing to do. Yeah. Something.
And, we got together. I didn't have nothing, so I was like, man, I hate fucking just working and not having something, So she told me Selena, which is her cousin, does comedy. Which, like everybody, I didn't even know Lubbock fucking had comedy. I was like, what?
Did she go out to the shows, or did she
just knew that her cousin
she just knew about it?
Yeah, so I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even know. And so I was like, well, shit, let's go check it out, just kind of like date night.
Yeah.
And so we went a couple of times, and we saw some of the comedians, and I joke around like they weren't that funny.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was
and you're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah.
And then that's what kind of motivated me to go up there and do it.
Yeah. You're like, they're not funny. Like,
yeah, and they're like, I see people go up there and they bomb or they eat shit or they suck, whatever you want to call it, and I'm like, hey, I think I could do that, just not as bad. You know what I mean? So that's good to know. Yeah.
See, my wife was that for me though, because it wasn't like I thought I was funny. As my wife was like, "You're pretty funny."
There you go.
Like, okay, I fucking.
There you go. And
that's what started me in it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I wish I had the story like everybody else.
No,
when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a comedian.
No, but this is what I'm kind of figuring it out too, because I think when you now like that, I'm like I've asked a handful of times, that some people will try to make it seem like they'll try to connect it to where like, oh yeah, I was a kid and I was like always watching comedies and I was funny. And but then I'm like, whoa, no, that doesn't really answer the question. What made you like want to get up on that stage that first night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, everyone has like that background foundation. Oh, my parents are funny. There was everybody, whatever. Somebody was funny.
Yeah.
But everybody has that story. Like everybody knows people that are funny.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of like, okay, let's get down to the point of what made you fucking want to get up on stage.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of hard when it comes to comedy. I'll be honest, because like I grew up on Def Comedy Jam, bro. So I seen like fucking the greats, Martin, fucking Eddie Griffin, all them motherfuckers, man. So I was like, I can't do that. Like, like that's why I was like, I'm not. Yeah. I never thought of myself like I'm gonna be a comedian. I just knew I could make some people laugh. Like growing up, I made people laugh, and then like I said, my family's fucking funny, So we had that, but I was never like I'm fucking funny. Like even to this day, I get shit. Like some of the people will tell me like, man, you're funny, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say I'm not. But I'm like, I don't have a fucking big head about it. Like I'm fucking the funniest guy. Fucking, And
there's a lot of people, and I give you props too, because there's a lot. Well, this is what I hear. I don't think I've actually met somebody, but when people like gave me comedy advice, or when people were like, talking about comedy or whatever, they're like, there's always that one guy who has friends that hype them up. They were telling them, hey man, you're funny, you should do stand-up comedy, and then he tries it and then bombs once and then never tries it again. They're like, oh fuck that. But like that defeats the purpose of like open mics, of even going and trying, because like nobody cares. Nobody's gonna remember you and like the next week and be like, oh, that's the guy. Nobody cares. Yeah. So
you're right. No, I like that the comedians. I think that's something too that's probably cool. Is like, do I think I would have started comedy in a bigger city? Probably not. From what you hear, like it's harder to get on, but here in Lubbock, that's the beauty of what we do, man. You can get on every fucking night if you felt like it there, and then everybody's supportive. We're like a little clique community type shit. Yeah. So nobody's really hating on each other, and so like the best advice.
Mostly not.
Well, yeah, most. Well, there are the little beefs, but the best advice that
they're kind of cute.
The best advice that I think they gave me, bro, is just like you said, like when you get up there, if you bomb or whatever, it don't fucking matter. Like half these people aren't gonna fucking know. If you fuck up your set, nobody knows what your set is, so like just keep going, don't stop.
Yeah, you can like apply that to a lot of things, like, oh, you're trying to start a business where you're probably gonna fail a bunch of times before you actually succeed or make someone laugh. Or you're trying to pick up on girls, well, you're gonna get rejected a bunch of times and, probably land someone. And then just like anything, but people don't. I get why people are really intimidated by it though, because you're literally going up in front of a crowd of people and the whole point is to make them fucking laugh or whatever. And some people don't, they see that as like it's gonna like change their life. I'm not saying it like go viral, but in a sense where they're just like kind of like, it's scary, because if they fuck up or if you mess up or in that moment, it's like, it could be like devastating or whatever.
Well, you get instant feedback.
Yeah.
You find out instantaneously whether or not it worked or it didn't work.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard when you're up there in front of everybody. You get that anxiety, and it's hard to learn to push through that, and it's hard to come back to it.
Yeah.
So
shit, like y'all know I number mine, my sets. I literally like that was something that I told my girl. I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna document it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I'm gonna start a YouTube page and I'm gonna put every single one of my sets from the first one to whenever. I'm gonna put them on there so you see everything raw, what I did, and then y'all. I don't know if y'all know that I freestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna say half the time when I'm going up. I just say it and then it comes out, and it's either funny or not. Sometimes I'm getting to the point now where I can start repeating some shit that I know is funny, but like what it was is like I tell people for the first 30 of these motherfuckers, because I'm at like 60 now. For the first 30, my stage fright was so bad, I didn't even see the crowd, bro. I didn't even like, I disassociated. I would get up there, fucking Zoom, like, you know how they say, like, everything just goes dark. And I wouldn't even know what the fuck I said until I got off stage and saw my recording.
Okay.
And my girl was like, you did good. I did. Like, you know, like, I didn't even know. I was that fucking scared, bro.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where, like, my confidence is finally up. I can see the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you do this? Because since you post, like, you record all your sets, right? And you post them, do you go through, like, so you're able to look back and see, like, what works and what doesn't, like, where you're getting laughs and where it's not? And I'm pretty sure you do it enough to realize if it's the room or if it's you. So I'm asking, like, do you kind of, like, just, will you compile? Do you, like, go through and, like, just figure you could just kind of compile all the good parts from your sets?
I have it.
And just kind of read. That might be something you could kind of resort to.
Yeah.
Like, kind of something just like a little backup, like, whatever something happened, you know, like, just like you go back and watch it and find those the jokes where you got, like, really good laughs and just, like, kind of, like, recreate that moment. And I know, because do you freestyle because you feel like it's more authentic? No, because hold on, like, because I could imagine, like, because I could imagine that some people, because this is okay. I'm gonna compare it to hip hop, like, to rap, because this was my ego, this is my philosophy, whatever, before, because when it comes to rapping, I used to think that if you can't freestyle rap, which a lot of rappers can't do, I used to say if you can't freestyle rap, you're not a real rapper. You know what I mean? That used to be, like, my ego, and then but now I don't really think that's the deal. You know what I mean? So, like, if it were to go to stand-up comedy, I could try to say, like, oh, if you don't know how to, like, if you don't know how to play off the crowd, or what do they call it?
Crowd working.
If you know how to do that, then you're not a real comedian.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not really the case either. You know what I mean? Where was I going with it? But so I guess I'm trying to suggest that, like, that would be kind of cool too. Have you ever, like, to just kind of look back to your sets and see what works, what's, you know, and just put that all into, you could just make a solid 10 minutes for that and just do that for a show or something, you know? That's kind of what I'm just saying. Pretty much.
No, you're right. That's my goal for next year. Like,
oh man,
that is my goal for next year.
Because, call it 17 minutes.
Instead of just fucking freestyling everything and always having to make something up and come up with something new. Then you know, eventually that is, like, you know, if I take it comedy serious and it's not just a hobby, then you do need to get to where you make a set and you polish the set. 'Cause, you know, you hear all these professional comedians talk about that shit. So that's kind of my plan for next year, is to look back at my shit, be like, that was funny, and start putting sets together, like you're saying. Because, like, even though I've done 3 showcases, I didn't feel I was ready for that, bro. It went good, but, like, to me, I'm like, if you're gonna pay to see me, I want it to be polished. I don't want it to be me up there freestyling.
And that goes back to what you said, how it's probably different trying to do stand-up comedy in a bigger city, because in a bigger city, it'd be hard for all of it, the 3 of us, to get shows. Because I had never been booked in a show when I was living in California, in the LA area, and when I got here, I got booked on my first show, and then that was just 1 show, and then which is pretty cool, because I was like, oh man, like, man, they need some freaking, like, but they booked me. They must need some people. I get what you're saying.
It's nice though, bro. I'm grateful.
I would say we've got a pretty decent group of comics too. Not just, like, people, like, the character. I love the characters in our group, but I also really think there's good comedy coming from a lot of us. People come in from out of town. And, like, somebody flew. I remember some guy flew, and I can't remember where it was. He just bombed.
Yeah.
Right? He either had a bad night, or just, you know, one of the comics was giving him a hard time. Like, hey, you know, you fly down here to do 10-minute set. You don't even know what comedy is. Because, like, we didn't get any laugh, and he just had a bad night or whatever. But, like, you know, I think that we've got such a good community for the comics here. It's such a safe place that people like Peter. Like, you know, where, I mean, he is funny, dude. He's smart, too. You know, he has a place where he's, like, you know, can be kind of that engineer-minded type of guy and get up and do his jokes, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we're at the point now where, we need a crowd, bro. We've got everybody's fucking good.
Yeah, I feel like, I've been saying this, I feel like 2025 is going to be a good year for Lubbock comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I know we're going to keep doing this, and I want this to evolve into something more than just a podcast. And then we'll see where that goes.
We need like an in living Lubbock.
living Lubbock, girl ripping it off and shit.
Yeah.
Can I be Homie the Clown?
As long as I can be Fire Marshal Bill, dude.
What are we, Daniel? What are we looking at? You could just. Okay.
Oh, we're at 1 hour. Okay.
All right. So. No, you're good. So like we're at an hour. So what's up with you, man? What do you got going on? Anything you want to say to the world, to people?
Anything you want to plug?
Anything you want to?
I mean, I guess my YouTube page.
Your YouTube page.
My YouTube page, Mr. Is WT. So MRISWT. Like I said, I've been putting every set since day one, so you can see from how nervous I was all the way to how semi-confident I am now.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna toot my own horn. Even though I freestyle, I've got some pretty good stuff.
Nice.
Now, one thing that does suck is the audio.
I vouch for that.
Trash, bro.
So do you count? You said you count what? Because I follow. I have you on Facebook. So you count shows as an open mic too, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anytime I'm in front. So basically, anytime I'm in front of a stage,
You feel like that's an open mic? Okay, that makes sense though.
Oh,
When are you gonna count like your first show? When's that? When do you?
What do you mean, like?
What do you expect like for it to? Because if they're all just open mics, what to you is gonna be like? Oh, that was like my first show.
I probably never stop counting them, honestly.
Oh no, okay, I get what you're saying. I think I'm just high now. I'm just
rambling. What I'm saying, like, yeah. Once, I mean, because I think that's what it is you see the progression. So, like I said, I did my 60th one today, and so you like,
nice.
Oh shit, he's done 60, and then like,
man.
I label them like showcase number 1 / open mic, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think what you're talking about too is I probably refer to them as an open mic because I am freestyling.
Oh,
So
okay.
when I do start doing sets, I'll be like, okay, this is my first official polished set. It's not a freestyle.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I get you now. Yeah. So my question did make sense. I was like, man, where am I going with this? Okay, thank you. All right.
It makes sense, bro.
All right, cool. I think you want to put anything out there?
I want to keep talking, but I think we gotta wrap up.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Conversation going later.
Yeah, we'll have you back on for sure and check in with you.
I haven't gotten you drunk
at another point.
Hey, and when y'all get this, I'll promote. I've been doing that like crazy. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm doing all these podcasts, not because I'm a narcissist, but I'm really literally trying to let everybody know that there's Lubbock comedy.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people don't know.
It's putting in work, man. That's good.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. That's how I'm doing my part.
Hell yeah. All right, cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Iz.